This is the Warrior Kid podcast number 2, Ask Uncle Jake. And my name is Jocko Willink, and this podcast is based on some books that I wrote. The books are called the Way of the Warrior Kid books. The first one is From Wimpy to Warrior, the Navy SEAL Way. And the second Warrior Kid book is called Mark's Mission. And the books are about a young kid who faces a lot of problems that all kids face, and who gets help solving those problems from his Uncle Jake, who was a Navy SEAL and who stays with Mark in the summertime. And I made this podcast so people could hear some more lessons from Uncle Jake and also get a chance to ask Uncle Jake some questions. So here we go. The first question. My brother and I are 8 years old and 10 years old. What workouts would you recommend for us? Well, that's a great question. And I think the best things to do when you're 8 years old, 9 years old, 10 years old, 11 years old, 12 years old are pretty much focused on calisthenics. So calisthenics means pull-ups and push-ups and sit-ups and dips and burpees and squat thrusts, all kinds of exercises where you're using just your body weight to work out. And believe me, you can get extremely strong and fit just using your body weight to work out. Now, on top of that, it's good to do running and swimming and sprinting and see how fast you can run. And it's good with those kind of things to compete against your brother and race, and not only compete against your brother, but compete against yourself. Set a timer or set a stopwatch and see how fast you can run 100 meters or 400 meters or whatever distance you measure. And those are good ways to get in good physical shape. On top of that, it's really good to play sports. It's really good to play soccer and basketball and baseball and football. Any sports that you can do, even if you're not great at them, you should still do them, because all those sports help you with your coordination. They help you to become a better athlete and make you more coordinated, and they will make you better at all different sports. So play a whole variety of different sports. And of course, the one exercise that you should definitely do is train Jiu Jitsu. It's a lot of fun. It teaches you how to defend yourself. It teaches you about discipline, and it does get you in good shape. And like I said first, it's very fun. So those are some things that you can do at ages 8 and 10. And really, I'll tell you, everything that I just said, I still do it now. Have fun with them. Next question. I feel like I'm a pretty good warrior kid, but I don't like it when people call me names. It really bothers me. My dad told me sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never hurt me, but it doesn't help. What can I do to not get mad? Okay, this is a trap, actually. Let me explain it to you. When you show someone that it bothers you when they call you a name, it makes it fun for them. It makes it fun for them to make fun of you when they see that it bothers you. So the trick is, to get out of the trap, is to not let it bother you. Or even if it does bother you, don't show it. Control your emotions. Don't show the person that's making fun of you that you're getting mad or you're getting frustrated. Maybe even laugh just a little bit. Just a little bit. And your dad's right. Sticks and stones can break your bones, but names can't hurt you unless you let them. So don't let them. And I wrote exactly about this topic in the new Warrior Kid book, Mark's Mission, because everybody gets called names and no one likes it. And here's a good way to deal with it from the Warrior Kid book. All right. Like I said, this young guy, Nathan James, who goes to school with Mark, he calls Mark plate face. And it really bothers him. And here's what Uncle Jake says to do. Uncle Jake then asked me, has he ever punched you? This was a strange question. No, I told Uncle Jake. What about kicked? Has he ever kicked you? No, Uncle Jake, he's never kicked me. What about slapped or scratched or bit you? No, he hasn't. Okay then, Mark, what has he done to you? This question had me quiet for a minute. What had Nathan done to me? I could barely remember when it all started. Well, he makes fun of me. He calls me names. Oh, right. That's right, Uncle Jake said, smiling. Plate face. That's not funny, Uncle Jake, I told him. Well, maybe you don't think so, but it's kind of funny. Not really, I told him again. You might think it was funny if you didn't take it so seriously. Think about it. Your face is a little roundish, and it is a little flat, like a plate. So, plate face. If you just let it be funny, you would see that it is funny. But you're being too sensitive about it. A warrior can't let a little name calling upset them. Warriors have more important things to be concentrated on, things that matter. Someone making fun of you or calling you a name isn't important enough. Just deal with it and move on. Okay, but it annoys me. How do I just deal with it? Uncle Jake looked at me and said, that's the easy part. You just laugh. Laugh. Laugh along with the joke. Instead of getting mad, just think of it from a different perspective and laugh. And here is another secret. Not only will laughing make you feel better, it will also take away the power of the insult. People make fun of other people to feel powerful. As soon as you can laugh at yourself, you take that power away from them. Try it. You will see. Okay, Uncle Jake, I told him. I'll try it. So, you can read the rest of the story, how it turns out. And Nate and Mark does a great job actually laughing at himself in the book. And it ends up making him feel a lot better and solving a lot of problems. Okay, next question. Uncle Jake, my big brother says that mean kids can grow up to be mean adults. Is this true? Or after high school, does everyone become nice and play by the rules? Well, unfortunately, your brother is right. Some people don't stop being mean when they grow up. Some people are still bullies even when they're adults. And that is why being a warrior kid is important. You learn how to stand up to bullies. And you have the confidence in yourself not to be a bully yourself. Most people are bullies because they feel bad about themselves. They feel insecure, so they don't feel good enough. So they try and make themselves feel better by picking on other people. And as a warrior kid, you know you're on the right path. You know it. So you don't have to feel bad if someone tries to make you feel bad. And when you do meet people that are mean, the best thing you can do, and this is hard to understand, the best thing you can do is just try and be nice to them. You never know what kind of hardships they have in their life, what kind of things they're struggling with. So if you try and treat people nicely, sometimes it helps them. And if they're still mean, which some people are, then just try and treat them as politely as you can, but don't pay too much attention to what they're saying. You kind of have to ignore them. And that's another theme that's in the new Warrior Kid book. Mark has to figure out what kind of person Nathan James is, where he comes from, why he acts mean to people. And it really helps Mark understand, once he realizes and understands why why Nathan is being so mean, it helps Mark come up with a plan on how to help Nathan not be mean. All right, next one. My name is Brett, and I'm in 5th grade and 10 years old, and I have one question. Does discipline equals freedom apply for things like sports and stuff outside of school and home? Well, that's a big theme in the first Warrior Kid book, Discipline Equals Freedom. And the idea is the more discipline, the more work you have, the more focused you are, the more freedom you're going to have in your life. And to answer Brett's question, yes, it absolutely does apply to things outside of school. The more discipline you have in life, the more freedom you will have in everything that you do. The more discipline, you asked about sports, the more discipline you have to practice sports, the more freedom you will have in those sports. So for instance, in basketball, and I played a little bit of basketball growing up, the more discipline you have to practice dribbling the ball and passing the ball and shooting the ball, the more discipline you have to practice those and get good at them, the more freedom you will have on the basketball court to move around and maneuver past your opponent and make good shots and score baskets. So if you have the discipline to practice, you'll have more freedom on the court, and it's true with every sport. Another thing is the more discipline you have to work and save money, the more freedom you will have to buy things that you need. And in the new book, Mark's Mission, Mark wants a new bike. And he uses discipline to work hard, to save money, and he ends up building his own bike. It's a very cool part of the story. Another thing is cleaning your room, right? And I guess this does go back to home, but the more discipline you have about cleaning your room, the more free time you're going to have. Because you know what? If you clean your room every day for 5 minutes, it only takes 5 minutes. But if you wait all week long and you let all those dirty clothes pile up and you let the dirty socks pile up and you leave stuff all over your room and you leave some dishes in there and they start to stink, well, by the time Saturday comes around, it takes an hour to clean your room. So you have less free time. But if you just have the discipline to do a little bit of cleaning every day, you'll have more free time in the long run. So the more self-discipline you have in your life, the more freedom you will have in your life. All right, next question. Max is 7 years old, and he's in first grade, and he asked what to do at night if he's scared there might be monsters and ghosts. Well, here's the thing. There are monsters and ghosts. But you know what? They're only in your mind. They're only part of your imagination. They're not actually real. Now, this is what's interesting, is that having a good imagination is a good thing. It's a great thing to have a good imagination. That's how people make up stories and make art and make songs and make paintings and make drawings. It's because they have a good imagination and they can create those things in their mind. And it sounds like you have a creative mind too, because you're making up monsters and ghosts in your mind. Now, since they're only in your mind, these monsters and ghosts are not things that you need to be afraid of. Because since they're in your mind, you can make them do whatever you want. You can make them fluffy and nice and funny instead of fire-breathing and scaly and scary. So you don't have to be afraid of them because you can make them into whatever you want them to be. Now, if you have to, I recommend you do this as well. Before you go to bed, go look in the closet. Go look in the closet. Go look under your bed. Go look wherever you think those ghosts and monsters might be hiding, and you will see that there's nothing there. They're only in your head. So don't be afraid of them. Next one, Christian. Christian is 6 years old. We're getting some young warrior kids here. And he says, Uncle Jake, when do you know everything about Jiu Jitsu? Well, this is a very good question. And the answer is you never know everything about Jiu Jitsu. But that shouldn't make you sad. Instead, it should make you happy because you can always learn more. I've been training Jiu Jitsu for 25 years, and I still don't know everything at all about Jiu Jitsu. And what's interesting is that you should also have this approach to everything in life, that you can always learn more. Just like Jiu Jitsu, you can always learn more. And that's called being humble, not walking around like you think you know everything. If you want to do the opposite of that, you want to walk around with your mind open, wanting to learn. That's called being humble. And when you're humble, you always have an open mind to to learn more. And that's why being humble is part of the Warrior Kid Code. And Jiu Jitsu will help you stay humble because you can never know everything there is to know about it. And that is all we have for this episode of the Warrior Kid podcast. And if you want to get the Warrior Kid's books, you can get them at warriorkid.com. Or if you want a Warrior Kid t-shirt, or you want a Warrior Kid rash guard for your jiu-jitsu or your exercise sessions, you can get one of those from jockostore.com. And that is it. Thank you all for listening. Thanks for reading the books. And now go out there, train hard, study hard, work hard, get after it, and be a warrior kid.